Hi.
Congratulations, you two, for Smiley Face Killers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
So tell us why you were initially attracted to something so brutal like Smiley.
For me, I saw Bret Easton Ellis's name on the script when it came in, and I'm a huge fan of his. Love American Psycho. I love all of his books. So initially, I think I was pretty in even before I started, but then ended up loving the script too after I read it.
Ronen?
Yeah, very much the same. As soon as I saw that he was actually going to write the script and produce the script, I was completely in. And then the script itself was, it was so beautiful. I love that we're dealing with what goes on in Jake's inside of his head, and then also, we have the physical thing lurking after him. So I really love the combination of those two things. And I just thought the characters were so well written and very personal. It's sort of, I forgot what the term is, but you're sort of dropped into their lives, and I think the writing allows us to follow these characters without, like a major backstory or something. And I think the relationships were so well written that you just immediately start following these characters and caring for these characters. So yeah, it was really cool.
By chance, did either of you try to look up who are the real, true events of Smiley Face Killers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about this, but I was just curious, like looking it up, and then Bret had said that he kind of stumbled upon something on the internet and then stayed up all night on a YouTube hole and was just like, how come no one's talking about this? And that's what made him write the script. But I felt the same way. Like, we're in such a true crime hysteria now, and I just couldn't believe all these things that I never heard about, and they're all kind of linked. It's fascinating.
Yeah, there's, it's still sort of a theory. So you can find a lot of these young men's names and sort of what their story was. But there was a great documentary that came out, I believe it was last year, on what was that network? I don't remember, but it was that documentary was really amazing. It's literally called Smiley Face Killers. And it really talks about the events that led up to these young men mysteriously drowning, and talks about their lives and their personal stories. I would totally recommend to check that out after you watch our film.
Obviously. So just on the real life aspect, did you think that there's actually serial killers, or do you think it's just accidental drowning after your own personal research?
I think what happened was, and this is sort of the theory, I think what happened was it started with one group of sickos, and then throughout the years, I think people sort of thought it would be amusing to follow sort of their method of these murders. So I think it eventually turned out to be a bunch of groups doing the same sort of killings. But I do believe that it started with one group of people and then sort of grew into this awful thing.
Yeah, because I mean, the one thing, you could just say it's a coincidence, but that smiley face, it's just crazy. I mean, it looks the same every time, so it's very weird.
Yeah.
It is very weird. But anyways, so for you two, how did you two develop your chemistry before the production of a film like this?
It was so difficult. It was the worst, most difficult person I've ever worked with. It was easy, man. It's like, first of all, Mia is a really sweet and genuine person, so that always immediately makes everything easier. So there's no egos. It's not gonna be difficult to work with someone. And I think the biggest thing, when you are doing this sort of relationship, you know, because it's a very personal, intimate relationship. I think the biggest thing is just trust. And I had the utmost trust in Mia, and I believe she had a lot of trust in me, and we just sort of went with that. And then, you know, luckily we were sort of all living in the same house, so we actually got to know each other, and we really got to bond with each other off screen, on screen, on the weekends. So we spent a lot of time together, and got to know each other as people. So then when we were on set, I think there was just a real comfort and trust when it came to performing.
Yeah, I think we got in Vegas a night or two before we started shooting, and I think the first scene wasn't like the love scene, but definitely I think it was the first scene we have together where, like, you know, we're in underwear, we're in a bed, and it's just like, I met this person 24 hours ago. But it did feel instantly comfortable and safe and trusting. And yeah, thankfully we were all living in the same house and kind of getting to work on our scenes together in the same living space. We were all cooking dinners together, going swimming, and doing all of these things. So I think that really kind of helped speed up the getting to know each other process, the chemistry process, which you don't usually have when you're shooting something in LA and everyone's going to their separate homes at night. So I feel really lucky we were able to have that living situation while we were shooting.
Yeah.
Ronen, how difficult was it to play sort of like a bipolar type of character? And then for Mia, is how do you react to that on set when Ronen is playing almost, you know, kind of whimsical in his own way?
I wouldn't say he's bipolar. I think he just suffers from depression. It's a completely different mental illness. But it was not fun. I'll tell you that much. It was the most challenging thing I've done so far, but also the most fulfilling, because I really got to dive deep into what I think is going on in his head. And it was finding a fine balance in how do you play someone suffering from depression. I personally, I don't know what that feels like. So it was a lot of research, a lot of speaking to people in my life that I know have it, and then sort of, you know, making sure that it comes off realistic and not phony. Because the last thing is I would not want to offend someone with this issue, and in no way glorify it. So I think that there was a lot of balance that I had to find, you know, and also telling the story. You know, we have to tell a very specific story. So it was a lot. It was very stressful. But I'm proud of it. I know a lot of people that have seen it are proud of how I portrayed it. So knock on wood. I hope I don't offend anybody. But yeah, man, it was tough. You know, it's not a fun headspace to be in at all. And then physically, it's definitely not a fun place to be in. But it's, you know, at the end of the day, we're making a film and we're telling a story, and I thought it was very fulfilling after watching the final product. So, yeah.
It was actually, I don't know, it was really interesting, and I enjoyed playing these scenes that weren't just, you know, a couple arguing in a horror movie. It felt, and that's when I first read the script, you can't, when you're dealing with people who suffer from depression or addiction or anything, you can't just go off the handle, or it informs how you deal with someone you love, and how, you know, anything, if you say the wrong thing, you could cause them to go down a hole. So I really did pick apart the scenes in a different way and play the scenes in a different way than I would have, and gave me more variety to try tactics. You want to help this person, you're desperate to help this person, even though, you know, you don't know what it's like in their shoes. And it did really make me think about how people deal with that in real life. And yeah, that's my favorite kind of acting and role to do, when you sort of, it informs how you see the world differently too. So that was really fulfilling.
Yeah, it's like I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's that scene at the beginning of the film when I come over and we attempt to get physical, but the medication that he's on, it makes it very difficult. And that scene, I feel like that was amazing in the sense of like, how do you speak to someone going through this? And I think Mia knocked it out of the park, because that scene could have been played. And I remember talking to you about it, Mia, like that scene could have been played so many different ways. And I really feel like we hit the sweet spot, you know, like she was just so open and caring to Jake. I think that scene is a beautiful depiction of what couples go through when someone is dealing with that. So that's one of my favorite scenes for sure.
Excellent. Well, one more thing, Ronen, how did it feel running around in your birthday suit with what it looks like some kind of duct tape in your private parts?
It sucked. It sucked. Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was painful. And I didn't even mind so much the like being just completely bare aspect of it. You know, I felt very comfortable and there was a lot of respect and trust on the set. But the actual duct tape thing, like, you know, obviously they put like a protective layer underneath, but at the end of the day, they're putting on duct tape on top of that protective layer. So at the end of the day, when you're taking it off, like it was not fun, man. Like it hurt. And you know, we had to putting that thing on and then taking it off like for a couple of weeks. But it looks so gnarly. And I think it did the story justice. And I think it looks really, really disturbing and bizarre. And I think that's what they were going for. But yeah, it was, I hope to never do that again. That's for sure.
Well, you know what? It's all for the sake of art. And I felt cold just
Exactly.
watching that scene for you.
Thank you.
So anyways, hey, thank you very much for speaking to me about Smiley Face Killers. And I wish you luck on all your future projects.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Gig.
man.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Gig.